Hey guys, it's Steve from Network. Welcome to another MLB Perfect Inning 2018 video, and welcome to a new series I'm going to try out. I call it Team Review Saturday. Maybe doesn't flow the best, so if you guys have a better name for the series once you see the video, feel free to let me know in the comments. But anyways, how it's going to work, I'm going to look at the teams of a couple of viewers, subs, fans, members of the community that I've interacted with and want their team reviewed. If you want your team reviewed for a future video, certainly feel free to send me a direct message at any of my social medias. You can comment on this video too, but ultimately I am going to want you to direct message me either on Twitter, Instagram, Google Hangouts, or Discord. The following pictures I can kind of do a good review of your team. I'm using my team as the example here. The first one is the overview. If you hit the preview button, you'll see the overview. It shows all 25 guys on one screen. Looking at my team, the one thing I'd criticize myself on, and I'm not trying to get too in-depth because I'm not reviewing my own team today, but the only two players I have that aren't +4 or higher are Jorge Posada and Jim Edmonds, my two legends. So if I replace those two guys with two guys that were +4 or higher, I would get a badge. That would increase my entire team a little bit, which would probably be a nice, useful thing to have. After that, the first 8 or 9 batters of your lineup, whatever your screen allows, and then the rest of your lineup, including the bench, so I can look at players more specifically. And then let's say I want to criticize this Yadier Molina on my bench, zoom in and say, okay, this is the player I'm going to talk about. Then I might cut away to the player on the auction house or something. The other two, the starting pitchers, and then the bullpen. Similar deal, just so I can review the players specifically. Now that that's all out of the way, the first team I'm going to review is the person who told me I should make videos on this and basically gave me the idea. Now, I've done team reviews on live streams before, but it's different doing them in videos. So a shout out goes to Ziegz for giving me the idea, and I figured, you know what, he gave me the idea, let's let him be the first team to be reviewed. His username is Mama. Interesting. Not sure why. But anyways, if we look at his team, his pitching staff is almost all +10s, a +8 Wade Davis. On his batting lineup, several +10s. He has a +8 Bregman, +7 Freddie Freeman, a +2 Albert Pujols in left field, +4 Didi Gregorius at shortstop, and then on the bench, a +7 Ender Enciarte and +4s of Ozzie Albies and Jose Ramirez and +5s of Gleyber Torres and Matt Kemp. Overall, it looks like a very strong team, and certainly if I faced this in a ranked head-to-head setting, I'd be a little bit worried. That being said, let's break things down a bit. Looking at his pitching, that Sonny Gray, I believe, has a curveball and not a sinker. Nothing wrong with that. 2015 Chris Sale has a 4-seam changeup, cutter, 2-seamer, and slider. So that's one of the nicer versions of him. That Felix Hernandez card definitely is nasty. That Ubaldo Jimenez has high command at a +10. That's useful. And the Corey Kluber, that's a nice card as well. Looking at the bullpen, I wonder how high that Dellin Betances gets his velocity to. It's 100 base velocity at +10. It does only have a 4-seamer, cutter, and knuckle curve. But those speeds, it can be very nasty. That Wade Davis, definitely a nice card. The Joe Kelly, also a beast. I have him on my team. And then the Claudio, kind of a budget card. Still has a nice pitch mix. Having the sinker, curve, slider, change, and 4-seam. Only things he doesn't have are a 2-seam or a cutter. Then the Alex Colomé has a 4-seam, cutter, 2-seam, and changeup, which with the new velocity update is definitely a tougher card to face. So really the only criticism I have for his pitching staff is the lack of lefties. There's only one lefty starter and only one lefty reliever. So if he faces a team that hits righties really well, his options are limited to Claudio, who's probably his worst reliever, and Chris Sale, who has a decent pitch mix by Chris Sale's standards, but that Chris Sale is still more hittable than some other pitchers. As for his hitting lineup, absolute beasts with Trout, with Cabrera, with Judge. I'm not going to question Bregman. I'm not going to question Freeman. Both look good. Carlos Ruiz, a plus 10 catcher, should be pretty nice. Starlin Castro, a plus 10 at second baseman, batting ninth, not bad. The bench, he's just filling with cheap players to give himself a badge. What I'm going to look at here is the Albert Pujols and the Didi Gregorius. The Albert Pujols at a plus 2 on the market currently would go for about 3.5 billion coins. When this picture was taken, he might have been worth a little bit more. With that, his base stats, 104 contact both ways, 102 power, 92 field, only 74 throw, and A-grade defense. And while this card's nice, for that same price, he could have a plus 6 WAR Ryan Braun from 2012, 100 contacts against lefties, 102 against righties, 100 power, 101 fielding, 90 throwing, and S-grade defense. To get him to a plus 7, might take a couple boost attempts, or if a plus 7's on the market, it would be 5.4 billion coins. So it would be a bit more expensive, but again, about the same value. You get the plus 6, you wait a little bit, you get a plus 7. As for Didi Gregorius, his plus 4 is 9.1 billion coins. Its stats, 97 contacts both way, 104 power, 89 field, 91 throw, and S-grade defense. Now, I can't fault this choice as much because the other players I would recommend for shortstop would be either Player of the Month, Francisco Lindor from the 2018 Live SE series, or April Player of the Month, Manny Machado from the same series. However, both cards, when you get them really above plus 5, they're more expensive than Didi. Lindor is basically the same price as Didi. Machado's plus 5 is the same price as Didi's plus 4. That being said, if you at least replace the Pujols with the Braun, that would give you, instead of all plus 2 or higher, all plus 4 or higher, that would give you another 1 overall increase to all your players if you found a suitable replacement for Didi Gregorius, which you could do with a plus 7 WAR Hanley Ramirez. 102 contacts against lefties, 104 against righties. His power does drop off to 91. S-grade defense, but 100 field and 100 throw. Then you'd have an all plus 7 or higher team, replacing the Torres, Albies, Kemp, and Ramirez, and or just pushing those guys to plus 7 would be pretty doable. It would take your badge boost from plus 1 to plus 3. It would make all those other players 2 overalls better, and that could definitely take your team to the next level. So that's what I would say about your team, Ziegz. No doubt, a very nice team. I'd say, maybe if you're going for all highly boosted players, as it looks like you are, unless you're planning to spend money, which maybe you have at this point. I'm not going to assume things, though. Replacing the plus 2 Pujols and plus 4 Gregorius with cheaper players who may not be quite as good but are still pretty good will help with that badge. Then the second team and final team I will be reviewing for this video is the team of DREID22. If we look at his team, all plus 7 or higher, he has the all plus 7 or higher badge. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus 10s at this point. And I know he's working on getting Max Scherzer to a plus 10, has him at a plus 9 currently. Doolittle, Machado, and McCutchen all at plus 8. Trumbo at a plus 9 as well. If we break things down, that plus 10 DeGrom, all A-grade pitches, 111 stuff, 94 velocity. That is a nasty pitcher to have. The one critique I'd have for his starting pitching, all 5 starters are right-handed, and all 5 have essentially the same pitch mix. DeGrom, Strasburg, and Verlander all feature the 4-seam, changeup, 2-seam, slider, and curveball. Archer and Scherzer feature the 4-seam, changeup, 2-seam, and slider, but not the curveball. If you want to know exactly what your starter is going to give you in terms of basically having the same pitches, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just one of those things, looking at it, where it might be nice to have a few lefties, a few righties, different pitches on some of your starters. But again, if you have a 1 in 5 chance, having the same pitches on all 5 might be the smart move. So, well, I personally like having different pitches, it actually kind of makes sense to have similar pitches so you know what you're getting out of that starting pitcher. First thing I see, looking at the David Robertson, I've heard that he has a little hitch in his pitching motion that makes it appear that he throws the pitches faster, so that makes him a good bullpen option. Then looking at Betances, Hader, and Jansen, it looks like DREID22 has opted for velocity over pitch selection, which, if that's what you want to do, all power to you. Then with Doolittle, he does have a curveball to go with a two-seamer and a changeup and a four-seamer, so kind of an interesting pitch mix. And then Brad Boxberger has a slider, curveball, cutter, changeup, and four-seamer. It's just interesting pitch mixes I don't normally see in a bullpen. That being said, if that's what DREID22 likes, all power to him, man. All power to him, all power to you if you are indeed DREID22 himself watching this, which I'm sure he will, but I'm also sure other people will. As for the batters, that Matt Kemp, once he gets to plus 10, he'll have 100 or higher for both contacts, power, speed, fielding, along with 96 throwing, so that will be a very nice card. Michael Brantley has B-grade defense, which is kind of weak for a left fielder, but decent fielding, okay throwing, solid contact, and the power's not quite there, but it's still a good card. I'm pretty sure that Evan Longoria card is an absolute beast from what I remember. Joey Votto's cards, always great. Maybe don't have the most power, but great contact, solid defense, and the power is at least kind of there. This is actually a rare Carlos Gonzalez card that has S-grade defense in the outfield. Good power, decent contact, good field and throw. It's actually a really nice card. Daniel Murphy, he can rake, and second base defense isn't too important. The Andrelton Simmons card, decent contact, power's not really there, but amazing defense, 110 field, 111 throw. That guy should be making every play on defense, but that is a nice card for sure. Jonathan Lucroy, outside of having A-grade defense behind the plate, another beast, 110 field, 114 throw, 97 power, 105 contact against righties, and 98 against lefties once he's a plus 10. Yeah, that's a good card. And then Manny Machado, he is a DH. He can absolutely defend at third. Very good contact. His power's not there, but he has decent speed. It's an interesting choice at DH, but not necessarily a bad one. Mike Trout on the bench, great contact. Power will be just under 100. The only thing he can't do is throw well from the outfield. So as a pinch hitter, very good. As a center fielder, kind of iffy. The player of the month, McCutchen, can hit righties really well. Can't hit lefties to save his life. But he can throw from center field. So he and Trout complement each other pretty well. And then Trumbo, an absolute monster of a power hitter. Same with Encarnacion. And Lindor, a solid backup shortstop. So yeah, both these teams look pretty good. Can't say there's too much wrong with either of them. That's going to just about do it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like. If you're new around here, subscribe for more MLB Perfect Inning 2018 content. In the comments, let me know your thoughts on this video. Should I make it into a weekly or bi-weekly series? Let me know in the comments. Also, let me know if you want me to review your team for a video like this in the future, because that certainly is an option. But that's going to do it for now, guys. I'm G from Skull Gaming Network. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, and as always, peace out.